Hi everyone, John here from LookSmart Home Inspections right here in New Jersey. And I was thinking about a couple things over the last couple of days about home inspection as a business. And why is it challenging to operate as a home inspector? And I was trying to boil this down. And one of the major difficulties or challenges that home inspectors have is that we have to find unique customers all the time. So our clients are not really repeat clients. Once in a while, if a client doesn't buy a house and there's a lot of things wrong, we'll see that client, maybe a month or two later on the second home inspection. But generally, home inspectors, as a profession, we're trying to find unique clients every single day that we're working. It's not like we work for the same client for a week or 2 weeks. So if you're a home inspector, you do this full time, and take for myself as an example, I generally work Monday through Friday, and I like to do one job a day. That's where I feel I can be most confident in helping my customers, not rushing and just really doing that one job per day. Because there's a lot of things that are involved. You have to do a lot of driving. There's actually the home inspection itself, and then coming back and doing a very comprehensive report. So there's a lot of hours to do just one home inspection. But if we do this in a full-time basis, I have to find about 250 unique clients every single year to have a successful business, or make an income that I want to make. And that's actually rather challenging, because as home inspectors, we get our business from mostly, a lot of home inspectors get their business from referral sources, agents, banks, attorneys, things like that. But myself, I'm an independent home inspector, so most of my clients come by two ways, either word of mouth or online sources. So that makes it even that much more challenging. So if any of you guys are looking at home inspection as a career, I really want you to understand that it's just not really doing the home inspection is about half of the job. The other half of the job is making the phone ring and acquiring that business so you can be productive and successful, 5 or 6 days a week if you choose. It's not really something that's really a great part-time business, because of the costs that are associated. What people don't understand is that, we have insurance, and there's a lot of different other costs involved that you just don't see as a customer or somebody just looking inward to the profession. There is really a lot of overhead. So if you're thinking about entering the profession, you must really put all that together and just understand that, hey, if I do this profession, I'm going to have to get 250 probably unique customers per year. And that's different than other businesses. So even the plumber is going to have repeat business probably once or twice throughout the year. I take, for example, a barber. You're going to go back every month probably to get your hair cut. But with home inspection, I may see you only once every 7 years. And that's actually quite challenging. So definitely something to think about if you're thinking about entering the profession. And that's definitely not something to scare you away. Absolutely come into the profession for sure. Definitely welcome that. I'm a mentor myself, so I teach guys coming into the profession. But it's just something that people really should understand, is that it's a unique business, man. We have to get a whole bunch of customers every single year to be successful. Now I want to talk to you guys about something that really gets under my skin about just other home inspectors too. And I'm not disparaging the profession. I'm just thinking that in this way we can certainly be better. So, I read some home inspection reports. Clients send me some home inspection reports to review, get a second opinion on, or whatever, act as a consultant. But here's the problem with a lot of these reports, is that home inspectors, and it just makes me not understand why we need to do this as a profession, is that we rely on the words further evaluation all the time. Every report, for the simplest stupid nonsense, we're telling the customer to get further evaluated. Why are we doing this? I mean, we have years of experience. We're trained licensed professionals. And we're telling the customer, for the simplest aspects, that they need to have a further evaluation. But my question is, then why are you hiring me? If I'm just going to tell you to get your boiler further evaluated, or your roof further evaluated, or your plumbing further evaluated, the electrical further evaluated, even the windows need further evaluation. Oh, there's wood rot, let's get that further evaluated. Or a loose toilet, oh no, let's get that further evaluated too. I mean, what are we doing? Why are we doing this to our customers? I mean, if you're not confident in your ability to tell the customer exactly what's going on, then don't do something else, honestly. Now, I understand why we need to say further evaluation, and I'm not saying for a second that I don't ask for further evaluation, but I really try to limit my use in terms of asking the client to further evaluate. So certainly if we see a big structural issue, foundation wall, framing issue, something along those lines, for sure, we're going to recommend that a professional engineer come in to further evaluate that issue. But for small stuff, small defects, there's really no need to have your customer further evaluate 100 different things in your home inspection report. I get why you guys are doing it, but let's try to elevate the profession. I mean, be a professional. If you're not able to tell your customer honestly what's going on, and you always have to throw it back to some other professional, I don't think that's fair for the client either. There are some cases where further evaluation is definitely necessary, but be careful. I mean, not every single aspect of a home inspection do you have to tell your customer to say, get further evaluated. And I think that we're doing our customers a disservice by doing that on all these small issues that really don't require further evaluation. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents about the words further evaluation that I see hundreds of times all the time in home inspection reports. So we have this NRA settlement, right? The National Association of Realtors settlement. And I'm trying to figure out how that's going to affect the home inspection profession. And one thing that I read an article lately, and it kind of, maybe makes some sense, is that there could be a lot of real estate professionals, part-time agents, or buyer's agents that, just leave the profession because they don't want to deal, with these new rules, or maybe they can't make a living with this new commission structure that, they're imposing, relatively soon. So how will this affect home inspection? And I think it's going to allow you guys as customers or clients buying homes to go into the marketplace and do more of your own research and hire more independent home inspectors like myself. And I think that finally, after all these years, that maybe the independent home inspector will get a leg up on all of these guys that are just referred to by real estate agents. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just a piece of a business that just generally never really worked for me. But what I want to say is that those of us who've been independent this whole time, I think it's going to be advantageous for us because we're used to working within the context of not getting a lot of referrals from third parties. And I think this can actually be advantageous for us because we know this marketplace already. We've been doing it for years. We've been surviving for years and developing a business for years without all of these outside referrals from third parties. So if these agents go away and they decide that they're going to do other careers and they leave the business altogether, that's going to leave sort of almost a void. That's going to be like a void there. And there's not going to maybe be as many agent referrals coming over to home inspectors as there was in the past. So those of us who've been living in the environment where, hey, you know what? I'm not looking for your referrals. I'm happy to have them, but I don't need them. So those of us who do business the way I do as independent home inspectors and client advocates, I think that that's going to help us in a way. I'm not really sure. We're going to see how this plays out, but it's going to be very interesting over the next couple of years to see how the landscape really works out, because there's a multitude of challenges now for real estate professionals and home inspectors, alike. It's just a very, very, challenging market with the super low inventory that we have. There's just not a lot of high volume of transactions taking place now. And those of us who make our living with, transactional volume and people buying houses, it doesn't really matter at what price the houses are buying or selling. For us, it just really means that houses are turning over, and we haven't had that, turnover in the last year and then this year. And then coupled with the NRA settlement, it's going to be interesting to see how, that plays within the profession as well. So that's, the jury's still out on that. I'm not really fully understanding how that's going to work and how that's going to impact our business as home inspectors. But I guess, will be interesting to see if those of us who have a more independent, sort of client base and business model, how we're going to fare. Is it going to be better or worse for us with the NRA settlement? I'm just not really sure. What do you guys think? Laundry sink discharges into a tote. This is a tote. There's a sump pump in the tote. Sump pump pumps up the water into the sewer line here. So very ingenious way to drain a sink. However, this has to be properly plumbed out to the waste system of the home. We can't just have the laundry sink emptying into a plastic tote with a sump pump. Very ingenious, incorrect. When you guys go up to an exterior window like this, I always like to push down on this window. And what do we see in here? This whole exterior sill is completely rotted. I can put my hand right through the sill. Look at that, right? Going right down into that sill. Why is that? Because we're not sealed properly. We don't have a slope away. Every exterior ledge should have a nice gentle slope away from the windows and doors of the home. We don't have that. Water is just entering here. It's rotting. It can actually go down and rot out our interior wall cavity here too, which we probably won't be able to see today. You can see all that wood rot. So make sure you're checking your exterior sills, even if they're metal coated like this. We have the sheet metal, we have the siding around the sill, but I always like to push down and make sure to see what's going on inside here. Problems are lurking. This is old galvanized water supply pipe that is still in use. So these pipes are significantly past their life expectancy, and insurance companies hate this piping right here. That's old galvanized piping. Look for that when you're purchasing a home. That's going to have to come out for sure. You have a mix of copper, which is here, galvanized, which is here. The copper's okay. Galvanized pipe has to go. I'm just taking a look at this exterior window frame here. We can see it's all rotted, but there is something more going on. You can see that termite mud in there. So this is a combination of wood rot and termite activity. So for sure, this house is going to have to be treated for termites. Take a look at these exterior windows. You can always see, you put a probe in here, you put a screwdriver in here, and then you can actually see that termite mud. It's all rotted back here. So if termites are here, they're likely to be in this interior wall at the right side front of this home as well. Home has to be treated for termites for sure. Common problem right here, a wood wall with no ties. So we don't have any tie backs for this wood wall. So the pressure of the soil and water collecting here, plus the freeze is going to push on that wall. Hydraulic pressure is going to push on this wall. So this is an improperly installed retaining wall. I mean, it's working right now, but it is going into failure. You see that wall is being heavily sloped to the driveway side, and that is just ultimately going to fail completely. So look for these retaining walls, eye them up down the wall, and if you see that wall that's sloping, that's hydraulic pressure pushing on that wall, and the pressure here is more than the wall can withstand, and the wall ultimately gives way. And that's what's happening here, because there's no tiebacks here. This is just a wall right here. There's nothing tying that wall into the soil positively, so that's what's causing this wall failure. When we have these basement walkout areas like this with stairs going down right here, there's no overhang, there's no roof over here. Water is just going to collect right on the base here. We're going to see if there's a drain. This is an area of concern because a lot of water is going to collect in here, can actually make its way under the basement walkout door. So this is something that we're going to take a look at. So if you're buying a house and you see this type of basement walkout with no overhang, no roof, nothing to protect this area, and of course no drain at the bottom over here, you're likely to get water, can possibly enter into underneath the door and enter into the basement. So I'm back at the van, and I had one of you guys ask me what I carry on my tool belt just to do a standard home inspection. Obviously, I have a van here with a lot of different materials, a lot of different equipment in it, but what I carry on my person is just a set of simple knee pads. Sometimes attics are unfloored and you have to walk around with an attic, so I do like to carry around a simple knee pads. I have an outlet tester. I have a infrared thermometer. I have some various screwdrivers. This is a power screwdriver here. I carry a small pliers, tape measure, obviously pens. I have a couple of flashlights which I carry right here, which are not in my pouch yet. Flashlight here for electrical panels. I have an inductive tester here. I have a moisture meter, which is required, and I do have a thermal imaging camera that I keep in this protective pouch here. I have a Hick Micro thermal imaging camera that I use on various inspections, so I keep that in the pouch as well, and that's, you know, protected obviously because it's an expensive piece of equipment. But that's usually what I'm carrying on my person. When I walk into the basement, I usually have a couple of probes. So to check the sills for termite damage, that's a long probe, and I always carry a big screwdriver also to check the probe and the sills and sill plate, box plate for termite damage. So that's what I'm carrying on my person as a New Jersey home inspector. I'm on the right side of the garage now, and we can see this walkway has significant settlement, which is going to drive our water to this right side of the garage here. A lot of settlement through here. Now we have some scaffolding, some ladders, difficult to see, but our water's always going to end up sitting right in front of this garage wall at the right side. This is not going to be good. We're going to have problems inside of this garage for sure with water penetration, probably wood rot, other issues. When we get access to this garage, we're going to be looking for that, but this is no bueno. Here we have this electrical wire. They're probably trying to feed power obviously to the garage, but this is a 9 triplex cable amateur installed installation, so we can't have electrical wiring just installed just overhead like this. It's unsafe, and it's a problem. We see that it actually goes beyond this downspout here, and then probably runs inside the house somewhere. We're going to take a look at that, but this is no good. We don't want to have electrical hazards. Somebody's walking with a ladder can get electrocuted walking through here. It's an unsafe condition. No electrical wire that's not triplex can't be run above the ground like this. Along the side of the house, you see they install this cement right here, but this cement, when we see this kind of thing, this never lasts properly. It's always cracking, it's always damaged, it always never adheres properly, and it certainly doesn't act as a barrier for water entry. So when we go inside, we're going to be looking for any kind of water penetration through this left side wall here. But when you see this cement, it never works, it's never a barrier, and it always just breaks apart with the different seasons, the hot and cold temperatures that we have here in New Jersey. So this is not going to be successful as a water barrier at all. We see a lot of settlement, a lot of movement to this walkway and retaining wall here at the side here. This is our garage that we're talking about. A lot of water damage here. So something's definitely going on here. We have water retaining here, a lot of settlement, going to break up this wall here. We see the damage to the wall, water damage. We have our slope going towards negative into the garage. So this is for sure going to be a problem, and probably a pretty big one once we get into that garage. On the right side of this garage, it always pays to get on the sides of the garage, even if they're hard to access, because look what we have here. We have a wide, large structural crack with displacement. And this is a house where we have a lot of water collecting around the exterior of the garage. Everything is really sloped to the side of the garage where water is going to collect. This is a structural issue. If you come into a house, especially, and you see this type of crack this wide like this in a foundation wall in a house that you're thinking about buying, that is a problem. I'm not overly worried about it because this is a garage, but obviously something's going on here. When I get access to the inside of the garage, I'll be looking to figure out what's going on. But this is not a normal crack in any way, shape, or form. Look for cracks like this when you're thinking about purchasing a home. They are structural cracks. When you guys look at a house, you have to take both a micro view of the home and also a macro view of the home. So I am across the street now, and I always like to get a sort of like this distance view of the house. And here we notice that our front porch, this side of the front porch, the right side here, it has a significant settlement to that right side front corner here. And most likely a footing has dropped there. Our soil, our ground is sloped this way, so all our water is going towards this corner of the front porch. And that's likely to be the cause. We also see our roof line is sloped probably 3 to 4 inches down also. So we have 3 to 4 inches of settlement to the right side of this front porch, which is significant. Obviously, you don't want your porch, the right side of your porch, to be lower 4 inches than the right side of your porch. So always when you're looking at a house or you're doing a home inspection, make sure you take this faraway view, this macro view of the house, and you'll be surprised what you can find. We call these landscaping steps driveway up to the walkway here, but look at how sloped those are. This is an unsafe condition because obviously it's a tripping hazard. So when the insurance company comes to evaluate the exterior of your house for safety issues, liability problems, this is likely to be an issue that they're going to say that you have to correct. So this is caused by water settlement over the years. Lots of movement of the walkway and the steps, which indicate water penetrating and the substrate failing. And this is a big problem here. I'm not necessarily sure that it's affecting the structure of the home. The foundation of the home looks good. But all of this tells me that we get a lot of water collecting on the left side of this house. And these steps, significant tripping hazard.